right, we're back on the Young Turks. Now, more on the George Zimmerman case. We're going to talk about that with our panel. Now, Anna Kasparian is here, but of course, Robin Sachs, our legal correspondent. And look at this, Roland Martin from New Orleans. I think I've been in that studio. That's a fun studio. It's
yes, it is.
Yeah, it's right next to a place you might want to party. Okay.
I'm down here for the Essence Music Festival, so looking forward to it.
All right, that sounds great. All right, Anna, tell us more about the story, and then we'll talk about it.
Well, it's day 8 of the George Zimmerman trial, and this day of testimony actually focused on firearms and forensics experts. So let's take a look at an ABC video explaining more.
Today, prosecutors tried to catch George Zimmerman in a lie. They called one of his college professors, Alexis Carter. In interviews, Zimmerman has claimed he wasn't aware of Florida's stand your ground law before he shot Trayvon Martin. But Carter says he taught the subject in class, and Zimmerman was an A student.
Did you discuss specifically self-defense and stand your ground laws in the connection of violent crimes such as murder?
Yes.
The defense noted that prosecutors haven't proven Zimmerman was in class when the topic was discussed. The Neighborhood Watch volunteer says he shot and killed the 17-year-old because he was beating him badly and feared for his life. Carter talked about how the law might be used in this case.
The fact that there were injuries have a tendency to show or support that that person had a reasonable apprehension of fear.
Firearms analysts said the bullet hole in Martin's hoodie indicates Zimmerman's gun touched his clothes.
The clothing displayed residues and physical effects consistent with a contact shot.
So the interesting thing that really stands out to me here is the defense tried to really question the credibility of Jeantel when they were, questioning her, and they were trying to show that she's not really a credible star witness. But at the same time, we just caught George Zimmerman in a lie because he said he didn't even know about Stand Your Ground when he shot Trayvon Martin. But this shows that obviously he took a class where he did learn about Stand Your Ground and he did learn about self-defense. So what's going on here, Robin?
Well, it's almost even better than that. It's not even just being caught in a lie. It's being caught on a lie on tape, on the tape that the prosecution introduced into evidence yesterday. That was the Hannity interview in which he said, no, I don't know about this law. No, I didn't study any self-defense laws. Multiple questions that went at it. So, the best part about this is that if you, one of what they were doing is saying, everything and anything that comes out of Zimmerman's mouth should not be trusted. And there's a fantastic jury instruction that's going to be instructed at the end of this trial where the judge is going to say, if you believe a witness to be materially false once, you can disregard everything that they have to say. Basically, once a liar, always a liar. And I'm guessing you're going to see those prosecutors jam that instruction down those jurors' fast.
So the interesting thing is, George Zimmerman gets caught in a lie, and I think that that definitely makes me question his credibility. But with Jeantel, Trayvon Martin's friend who was on the phone with Trayvon Martin before he got shot, they were trying to question her credibility based on her intelligence, which really got under my skin. And that actually turned me off to the defense and the arguments that they were trying to present to the jury. So I'm curious to see how the jury takes that.
Yeah, and I'm curious what Roland thinks about this. Because Roland, you just talked to Jeantel, right?
Well, actually, I talked to her attorney, Rod Vereen. The problem is she's still under subpoena. And so because she's under subpoena, she has not been released from that just yet. She can't do any media interviews, just like Ben Crump, because he is under subpoena. He can't talk about the case. He could talk about things in general, but he can't specifically talk about testimony what's happening in the courtroom. But once the subpoena is lifted, I will get an interview with her and talk with her. And what's very interesting is in the interview with him, several things jumped out. First, she speaks 3 languages. She speaks, yes, in terms of one of her parents, Dominican, so she speaks Spanish. She also speaks Creole. English is actually her 3rd language. And so all of these people who were chastising her and dogging her, the Laura Ingrahams of the world, everyone else, they didn't even realize anything about this woman. But she also said something else very interesting. She said that she and Trayvon, look, she wasn't his girlfriend. She said, but he was one of the guys. She said it was a cute. The attorney said that she said that he was a cute guy, but he was one of the few guys who didn't dog her about her weight and how dark her skin was and about how she looked. He said he respected her as a woman. And so that was really the kind of friendship they had. So it was very telling, and I appreciated her attorney coming out because literally listening to people trash this young lady, it bothered me also because this is why folks don't want to testify. This is why people don't want to come forward. And she was very reluctant. She did, and look, I knew this early on. She did not, her and her mom did not want her involved in any way. Literally, Trayvon's parents had to sit with the mother and walk her through and talk with her and say how important your daughter's testimony is. The mother didn't want her near any discussions in this case, and I think you saw that in terms of her being on the stand, how shy she was, how reluctant she was.
All right, that's really interesting. We learned a lot more from that. Now, I want to talk about one other aspect of this, and Robin, let me ask you about the bullet in the chamber. So what did we learn about that? It seems that his gun was loaded and that there was actually a bullet in the chamber. Do you know about this?
That was most disturbing part of the testimony today. It wasn't that there was it was just a loaded gun. It was loaded and locked, loaded, and ready to be used. So, I mean, that's what, as a prosecutor, where I saw the direction of this trial really go today, and where I actually think is a very effective way for the prosecutor to go, is to really focus on him just wanting to play with his toys, being there, being that vigilante neighborhood watch guy. I know they can't use the word vigilante, but when you're sitting there and you're going and with the locked and loaded, ready to use gun, especially in the time that we are right now, where we're so sensitive, and hopefully jurors are more sensitive to gun use and abuse, that will resonate with them if nothing else.
Can I piggyback on one thing Robin said?
Yep.
This is really important. This isn't the first time Zimmerman lied. Remember, he lied about the money that came in for his defense fund, and so he got chastised for that as well. He got his wife caught up in this whole thing as well. The point of the credibility of his testimony is what's most important. You know, it amazed me, all of these commentators and pundits and lawyers saying the prosecution, you know, what are they doing? They're killing this case. He's going to get off. I'm going, first of all, calm down. There's a lot more has to come out before you understand what's happening with the trial. But again, Zimmerman, because by the prosecution citing inconsistencies, then of course by saying that, wait a minute, you've been an A in a class and stand your ground was covered, and then you already lied to the court once when it came to your defense fund. If you're the jury, you get all that and saying, wait a minute, if the guy's going to lie about money and the guy's going to lie about stand your ground in a classroom, why would he not make up certain things when it comes to what happened that night? That is a crucial element, and that's the most important thing of this whole case.
I
his
agree.
Credibility.
And Roland, what I really agree about that is that he lied to the court. That same courthouse that he is sitting there deciding his fate, he lied to them. So it's not like I just misunderstood it. I mean,
right.
there was, that's a really
You know, it's
point.
funny. I agree and disagree. So is he a liar? Of course he's a liar. Like I said yesterday, he said that Trayvon banged his head into the ground 25 times. It's such an obvious lie. I mean, I don't know if it's because I've been in fights, but 25 is a gigantic number. There's no way that happened, right?
And it's like a perfect number, too. It's not like, oh, he did it 11 times. Like
Right.
25. Nice.
Yeah, and how did you count as your head's being banged? It's so stupid. It's such a stupid lie. But to me, no, once you're a liar doesn't mean you're always a liar. I'm a liar. I lied to my parents. I've lied to girlfriends. I lie all the time. But it doesn't mean that everything I say is a lie. It depends on the context.
Right, but the jury instruction says otherwise, because it's saying that when you're dealing with your case, that's a material lie. Everyone has lied to their parents before. Everyone's lied to their boyfriend or girlfriend, but not everybody lies when they're being investigated by the police, when they're being asked very specific questions, and that's the difference.
Go ahead, Roll.
And the most important thing the prosecution or the defense wants for any witness, that is your credibility. Because if you can put chinks in the credibility and you can poke holes in it, now the jury can sit here and say, well, wait a minute, if this guy can lie about basic stuff, why wouldn't he lie to get himself out of potential murder conviction? And so this has always boiled down to the credibility of George Zimmerman. That's why early on, when he lied to the court about the defense fund, a lot of people were saying, no big deal. I'm going, no. That's huge, because if your whole case rests on your word, if your word is not bond and not strong enough, you've given the jury an opportunity to say, sorry, dude, I don't believe anything else you said.
Yeah, and the one thing I think that we all agree on is that the credibility is the key. You know, court setting, not court setting, whatever, but he loses the jury, and they don't believe him anymore, then he's in a lot of trouble. And to me, the biggest part of that is, was he really going back to the car when Trayvon hit him?
Precisely.
There's no way. That's not the case.
I mean, all of so now all of a sudden, and this is why I think the prosecution has been good. People are saying they make a mistake by them bringing up the Hanny interview and playing the interrogation. What they're doing is showing inconsistencies. Now wait a minute. Here you said this, but then you said this. Here you said this, but then you said this. Now add in lying, add in the other elements. Now if you're a juror, you're sitting there going, you know what, I got a problem with this guy. The most important thing for any witness, to be consistent.
Well, and it's really important to recognize what a win it is for the prosecution that all that video and audio is coming in, because never, ever before a witness testifies would that come in. Normally, you have to wait for them to lie and then impeach them with it. The fact that it's being played in the case in chief is huge.
All right, we got to leave it right there. Roland Martin, everybody check him out on 18 Things That He Does. Host and managing editor of TV One, Tom Joyner, morning show senior analyst, syndicated columnist for Crater Syndicate. Everybody check that out.